I know I said on yesterday's video that Golden State Warriors trade rumors would not heat up a ton until after December 15th when the recent free agents are eligible for trade, but ESPN's Charania dropped a bombshell article today detailing all the trade buzz around the NBA, and he says the Golden State Warriors have interest in this trio of Nets superstars as well as a potential Jimmy Butler trade. Yes, a rehash of Jimmy Butler. Could he be headed to the Bay? Could any of those Nets trio be headed to the Bay? We're going to discuss all that on today's show. But before we do, guys, what happened? We were just leading in the December sub battle a few days ago, and we've gotten lapped. I mean, we've gotten doubled, even tripled up by Knicks now and Celtics today. That has to change. Golden State Warriors trade rumors are heating up. Lock us in as your number one source for Warriors content all season long. Hit that sub button and we'll get started with today's show. What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and Charania said, we're going to accelerate the NBA trade rumor mill up a little bit. Earlier today, he dropped a massive article detailing trade buzz around a lot of different teams, a lot of non-contenders, and guys who might be shipping teams to teams who want to shipping guys who want to teams who want to win now. That's in the Golden State Warriors situation, and that's why Shams is reporting that Golden State is reportedly interested in this trio from the Brooklyn Nets. You see Cam Johnson, you see Dennis Schroder, and you see Dorian Finney-Smith. Three guys who I wouldn't say are superstars in this league, but are definitely guys who contribute to winning basketball. Here's the full quote from Shams on what he had to say of the Warriors' interest in that Nets trio. He said, the Nets have received trade interest and opened exploratory conversations around forwards Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith and guards Dennis Schroder, according to sources. The Warriors are among the teams that have expressed interest in those three players, sources said, all three. So the 31-year-old Schroeder is having a standout season on a $13 million salary, averaging 18.5 points and 6.5 assists. Rival teams believe the Warriors are open to using injured guard DeAnthony Melton's $12.8 million expiring salary, along with draft incentives to make a potential deal for that salary range. So with that kind of being said, can Golden State trade for all three of that Nets trio? Probably not, right? Like Dorian Finney-Smith, he makes $15 million a year. Cam Johnson, he makes around $24 million a year. And obviously, you just read that Dennis Schroder makes $13 million a year. What does that combine out to? $51.5 million. Now, Golden State would basically be flopping their role players from their team to the Nets, right? Like, it would have to be somewhere of like a 5 or 6 for 3 trade, and that's just not realistic, right? We never see that kind of deal happen in the NBA. Sometimes you see a big-time superstar with one big contract traded for a plethora of players, but a 4 or 5 for 3 trade and a 1-to-1 deal probably isn't too realistic for Golden State. So let's talk about these players individually and if Golden State would want to make a trade for 1 or 2, a package of the trio. It's probably not going to be all 3. Dennis Schroder, on the one hand, like Shams said, he's having a career year for the most part in Brooklyn. 18.5 points, 6.5 assists, and he's shooting pretty solid from outside as well, 38.5%. And Schroeder's a guy who kind of calms things down. And I was kind of curious about this situation, right? Why would Golden State be interested in a guy like Dennis Schroder? Maybe they're not so hot or high anymore on the production of Brandon Podziemski that he's had in year 2. I know. I see it on Twitter. I see it in the comment section. You guys are fed up with the play of Brandon Podziemski. Maybe the Golden State Warriors front office kind of is as well, and they want a little bit more insurance there, somebody else who can handle the ball. You know, Stephen Curry isn't playing a minutes load right now that warrants, 35, 36 minutes a night where he's carrying this team for an entire game, right? Steve Kerr's trying to limit his minutes. He's trying to keep him fresh for a playoff push. Dennis Schroeder's a guy who you could feel comfortable, subbing out Curry and having him in the lineup. He can hit the 3, he can dish the ball out, and he can calm down an offense and facilitate to where a lot of the guys in this team really can't. Pods is turning the ball over more than he's dishing it out for buckets this season, and maybe Dennis Schroeder's maybe more of a safer option at that backup point guard spot that Golden State could go and explore. And then Dorian Finney-Smith, I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's as versatile as it gets defensively. He can guard 2s through likely 5s in some scenarios, right? He can play that small ball 5. You don't want that to necessarily occur, but he's a super long player. He defends at the rim. And you want to talk about three-point marksmanship? Hits it at a 42% clip. I mean, we've talked in the past about, Cam Johnson and his three-point prowess. Dorian Finney-Smith hits it at just a high enough clip. Maybe not on the volume, but, man, for a guy who this is a guy who you can plug and play on any single team in the NBA, and he's going to produce. Golden State is right to have interest in him, but does he raise their ceiling a ton? He definitely raises their floor, no doubt about it. But in my opinion, the guy who raises your ceiling the most is Cam Johnson. And I've beat this Cam Johnson drum a few times here on the channel now. I really think this is a guy who Golden State is in the realm of possibility to go out and acquire. It's not going to cost you as much as it would for a guy like a Jimmy Butler, who we'll talk about later, or a Brandon Ingram, the guys who have massive contracts. Cam Johnson's fairly affordable, right? $23.5 million. And for a guy who's putting up 18 points a game on 43% shooting from deep, with the defensive versatility that he has, Cam Johnson is my number one target out of these three players from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, a combo of players for Golden State that you would have to give up to get one of these guys, right? They talked about DeAnthony Melton, his $12.9 million salary, the mid-level exception that he got over the summer for Golden State. Not going to be able to be a service of them this year. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to ship him out and try to match salaries in that regard. Obviously, going to have to attach some draft capital in any deal as well. Kuminga, is he a trade candidate for Golden State? I'd have to say at this point, yes. With the way that they're working with him in the starting lineup now and trying to maximize his value to potential rival executives, I could see him definitely being dealt. Maybe not for one of these guys, but who knows? If Cam Johnson's driving a high price and a high bargain, maybe you have to part with Kuminga to get that done. Gary Payton II, I imagine he's going to be in almost any deal for Cam Johnson. $9.1 million is too much and too tradable to not include in one of those deals. Moses Moody with his poison pill, obviously $5.8 million outgoing, 13 point whatever million dollars incoming for the receiving team. So I'm not sure how tradable Moses Moody really is, but hey, maybe if somebody's high on him and they see that Golden State's not using him correctly, they could want him in any deal as well. He's still super young and he's going to be on an affordable contract over the next couple of seasons. And then Kevon Looney, $8 million, it's expiring, but in my opinion, I would try to stay away from trading Kevon Looney with the depth and how thin it is for Golden State in that front court. Looney's one of those guys you got to have sticking around for the toughness, the continuity, and the overall effort that he gives on a day in and day out basis. So any combination of these guys is what you're going to see in a trade for one of those Brooklyn Nets stars. So let me know. Who are you guys going to pick out of that trio? Is it going to be Dennis Schroder? Give me a DS down in the comment section. If it's going to be Dorian Finney-Smith, just put an F in between those letters. Give me a DFS. And then Cam Johnson, throw a CJ down in the comment section. I'm trying to hear from Dub Nation. This will be the pinned comment. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here. Go down below and answer today's pinned comment while that plays. So, in my opinion, I would love Golden State to go out and get any of these guys. If they could swap out three of their role players now, say, I don't know, Moses Moody, Gary Payton II, and then Jonathan Kuminga. For those three cats, I mean, obviously I'm saying yes in a heartbeat, but I don't think it can happen. In my opinion, like I said, Cam Johnson is the player that raises your ceiling the most. All three of those guys are floor raisers, no doubt. But when you're making a playoff push and this team's trying to contend for an NBA championship, is Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, or Dennis Schroder going to be the one who elevates your offense to the highest peak that it can when you have to hit big shots down the stretch? I think that's Cam Johnson. And then couple that with the versatility you get on the defensive end. I'm not going to say he's a better defender than Dorian Finney-Smith, but he is more than serviceable enough on that end to where I think that he's the guy you have to go get in this scenario if Golden State really excels or accelerates into trade talks with the Brooklyn Nets. But next up, like I said in the start of today's video, Jimmy Butler. We're talking about it again. I know you guys probably hate it, and I might probably hate it too, but Jimmy Butler might want to be a Golden State Warrior, and maybe Golden State wants him as well. We're going to talk about that on the back half of today's show, but first, I got to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform, and with over 100 million active members, including me, before they were even a sponsor here at Chat Sports, because it's so easy to play and win. And they'll get you guys hooked up with a free $50 in your account when you use our promo code CLNS and place your first $5 entry. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 200 times your money on Prize Picks during this Pixmas. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during their promo Pixmas. So when I said before, you got to place that $5 entry, it's so simple. You just pick 2 or more players, any stat projections, and just pick more or less. You can watch the money roll in. I got a 2-pick player entry for tonight, and I guess all the way out to Sunday, right, when the football games get back into action. Patrick Mahomes, they're giving you a free square, more than 0.5 passing yards against Cleveland Browns. He's obviously going to hit that. Prize Picks is to kind of help you guys out and give you guys a better chance at some free money. And then P.J. Washington, he's been on a tear for the Dallas Mavericks over the past couple of weeks, really elevating his play this season. I got more than 11.5 points against the OKC Thunder tonight, and I believe an NBA Cup game. An NBA Cup game. That's going to be awesome. So good on that. And if you hit this Prize Picks, it's going to be 3x your money. So tail my picks, fade my picks. Just make sure you go and do it at Prize Picks. Download the PrizePicks app. Use that promo code CLNS and get $50 for free when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. Is this going to happen? Are we really going down this road again? I kind of thought we were off the Jimmy Butler train for the most part, but it seems like the rumors have started to heat back up again as he could be looking to pair up with Stephen Curry and try to pursue his elusive NBA championship, which he has not gotten yet, and hopefully help Steph and Draymond capture their fifth. Here's what Shams had to say later on in that article he dropped earlier today. He said the Heat are open to listening to offers for Butler and making a deal if the proposal's right, according to league sources, and Butler's agent, Bernie Lee, has indicated in league circles that Butler is open to destinations such as two of the Texas teams, Houston and Dallas, and the Golden State Warriors. Now, let's preface it with this. The Warriors did not say that they are interested, according to Shams, in this article. This does not say that Golden State is pursuing a Jimmy Butler trade. However, we also know that Golden State has had reported interest. I mean, maybe nothing concrete, but reported interest from multiple outlets in the past about Jimmy Butler. And he thinking he is somebody you could pair up next to Steph and Draymond to really push the ceiling to this team to the top and be a true contender in the Western Conference. Here's more of what Shams had to say about the Golden State Warriors' pursuits at this moment. Remember, he said that they're trying to acquire a star, and the next couple of weeks and months are going to shape the future for Golden State. He said sources said the Warriors are looking to add a star player, a playmaker, scorer alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. A telltale moment happened for the Warriors on Friday night when Curry, Green, and coach Steve Kerr spoke about this being fourth-year forward Jonathan Kuminga's time to take the mantle, and Green accepted a bench role for Kuminga to start at power forward. My opinion, that's all about raising Jonathan Kuminga's trade value. Keep in mind, they shuffled Draymond Green back into the starting lineup the following game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I'm not going to buy too much into Jonathan Kuminga is going to be starting every single game moving forward. He was starting at the beginning of the year. They yanked him out. Now they're putting him back in. Steve Kerr cannot find the consistent rotation that he needs with Jonathan Kuminga, probably because he doesn't fit all that well. And in my opinion, I think the Golden State Warriors want to swing for the now. They understand that Steph and Draymond, their days are numbered, and they're already playing them limited minutes so they can be ready for a playoff run. Why not go out there and get an Iron Man like Jimmy Butler who can go play a bunch of minutes and he can be that effort guy on both ends of the floor, and he can score and play make like Shams is suggesting that the Golden State Warriors want to add, right? Jimmy Butler is, as far as a scorer playmaker on the wing, he's among the best in the NBA. He's still, a top 5 player at that position when it comes to, dishing the ball out and scoring the ball efficiently. As far as what he's done this season, I mean, it's nothing super impressive, and in my opinion, is Jimmy Butler necessarily the best fit with the Golden State Warriors on the offensive end? No, he only shoots 1.5 3-pointers per game. It's not like the Miami Heat are running a ton of pin-down sets to get him open from beyond the arc. But he does shoot the ball incredibly efficiently from the floor. 55.7%, works out of the mid-range, gets to the free throw line a ton. He's under 20 points per game this season. But in my opinion, Jimmy Butler's kind of like, he feels to me like he's checked out with the Miami Heat. Still averaging 5 assists a game, still crashing the glass. But as far as trying to contribute to winning basketball and trying to push the Miami Heat to championship status, I feel like Jimmy Butler is pretty checked out with this current Heat organization and the front office, and him and Pat Riley are butting heads. I just don't think it's all working out right there right now. But Jimmy Butler's contract is not cheap, right? It's $48.5 million. Golden State's going to have to include some big-time salaries to make a Jimmy Butler deal possible. Now, remember, he's also going to have to get paid as well. He's a player option at the end of the season. He's expected to opt out. And remember, he wanted a 2-year max, $116 million, whatever it was, from the Miami Heat. I don't think he's going to get that now from any team, and it definitely should not be the Golden State Warriors. But a trade for the now and to go make this pursuit for the championship this season, Jimmy Butler is a guy you want to go out there and have on your team because of what he does in the postseason. He elevates his play. It's night and day difference, Jimmy Butler in the regular season versus Jimmy Butler in the postseason. And I can only imagine how more of a effort he's going to give in maybe the regular season and then even the higher level he takes in the playoffs if he were to go to the Golden State Warriors, playing alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, not having to be the focal point on offense day in and day out and having all that weight on his shoulders to score the basketball. He could be the 2. He could be the 3. I mean, depending on certain nights when a guy like Buddy Hield is hot, if you have him out there, like he could score more than Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler could focus more on defense. He elevates his 3-point shooting in the playoffs. Hopefully, he's going to elevate his 3-point shooting and volume if he were to come to Golden State. And what's unfortunate about this whole situation, though, is Andrew Wiggins would have to be involved in any deal. You're not going to have Andrew Wiggins and Jimmy Butler able to be switching on defense on the wing. Jimmy's contract just commands too much salary back in any deal. So, unfortunately, Andrew Wiggins or Draymond Green, which I don't think that Miami wouldn't want Draymond. Golden State doesn't want to trade Draymond. Andrew Wiggins would have to be a part of any deal. I think that end up might be a deal breaker for Golden State. As Andrew Wiggins is shooting above 40% from three this season. His numbers are comparable to that of when he was on the 2022 team and the Golden State won the title. So I think Golden State would be very hesitant to trade Andrew Wiggins at this point. Maybe a lot more so than they were over the offseason when maybe they were looking to move off of him. So what does a potential trade for Jimmy Butler look like, right? I was going through the motions and trying to see what worked out financially for Golden State and Miami, as both teams are close to, if not over, the first tax apron. It's very difficult to make these trades happen, so this is kind of one of the only ones that worked out. Jimmy Butler and Alec Burks for Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II, Luis Santos, and unfortunately a 2027 first-round pick. I'd be hesitant to throw that in there, but I doubt that Miami is going to make any deal for Jimmy Butler without receiving any future draft compensation, because they would be effectively punting on this season and maybe even next season without their number one player in the building. So let me know what you guys think. Would you make this trade, Jimmy Butler to Golden State, for a plethora of talent and as well as some draft capital? Type A for accept, type T for decline. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think about this offer. In my opinion, I wouldn't take that. I think it's too much, and at the end of the day, if we're really pinching pennies here, and we're thinking about what the value of a guy coming to Golden State would be and what you have to give up, because a part of Golden State's positives this year has been their depth, right? I think you keep the most depth give yourself a higher ceiling if you go out and get Cam Johnson. You can keep Andrew Wiggins. Those two can switch on the wing. Cam Johnson fits your offense undoubtedly better than Jimmy Butler. He can run off screens. He can hit the outside shot at a really high rate, and he's probably going to get more volume if he was moved to Golden State, because they get up a ton more threes than the Brooklyn Nets. So, in my opinion, you got to go get Cam Johnson. He can bring it for you on defense. He's not going to be that alpha. He's not going to be that leader. He's not going to be that voice in the locker room like a Jimmy Butler would, but he costs a hell of a lot less. He's 7 years younger than the guy, and he hits the three at a really, really high rate. So this is my guy right here, Cam Johnson. Go out and get him. I mean, I have nothing left to say. I think that, for all you people who think that Golden State needs to go out there and get a big, yes, that is necessary, and that, yes, it is a priority. But in my opinion, they got to go get a second scorer that they can rely on when Steph isn't in the lineup, or he's not having one of his hottest shooting nights of the season. We'll talk about it more on social media, though. Hit me up on Twitter, @Smitty@CS. If you think my takes suck, hit me up on there. If not, give me some love on there as well. Give me a follow. Maybe I'll follow you back. And make sure you are subscribed to Golden State Warriors Today. We're bringing you Golden State Warriors content like nobody else on YouTube. Trade rumors are heating up. You're not going to want to miss a thing. Hit that red sub button. We'll see you in the next one. Let's go Dubs.